Hi guys, long time no see. I'm here today with a TBR for the Cottage time and talking about a haul that I got while I was there. The reason I've been away for so long from YouTube, and I feel like this whole entire summer I keep apologizing for being so long in between videos, but this time it's because I went to a cottage for a week and then came home and worked 13 days straight in a row. So unfortunately August was a little crazy, but I wanted to talk to you about what I did bring to the cottage to read, and then what I accomplished while there. And I also went to a used bookstore while I was there and picked up a few extra things that I read, so I wanted to share that with you as well. So I'll preface this by saying that my TBR for the cottage was a complete fail. I brought some books on my e-library to read, and then I didn't realize that they expired halfway through the trip, so I didn't get to a lot of them. One of the things that was on there was Animal Farm, which was an audiobook I was borrowing, and that had to go back. It just disappears off of your app when it's due, so that went back. And I'll get into the rest in a little bit, but I wanted to show you some library books I did bring. So this one is Where We Belong by Emily Giffin, and I wanted some light reads for the cottage. I didn't want anything too serious. I wanted to be able to just enjoy the lake and being outside and just have something light to read. I thought this might be a good option. I'd read some Emily Giffin in the past, and I thought, oh, you know, it was interesting enough, but still being a light read. And unfortunately, when I went to read it, I realized that I had already read this book. So that was also a big fail. Poor planning on my part. And then I brought Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. I had Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire on my e-library books, but again, it expired. It went back. So then I was halfway through that book, and I was expecting to then move on to this one, but I got majorly delayed since that book was no longer on my e-library app. So then I didn't get a chance to get to this one yet. So this is very high on my TBR for now that I'm back from the cottage, as I now will have a chance to follow it in the sequence. And then the last hardcover book that I brought was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and I did get a chance to read this one. I thought it was very sweet. Again, YA isn't the type of genre that I usually go for, but I thought, again, you know, something light, something I didn't have to think too hard about, and I have to say that it was well written. It was a very sweet story. I liked the character. I liked the character development. I liked how she was into writing, which kind of, I don't know, as a book lover, I always enjoy stories where the main character is into reading or writing, and you can kind of relate to them through that. So that was cool, and it also had a cute, you know, play on Harry Potter and the main character being obsessed with a series of books that was kind of reminiscent of the Harry Potter craze. So that was kind of cool to read that while I'm also in the middle of the Harry Potter series. And I would say that I recommend this if this is your type of book that you would like. So then we went to a used bookstore. It was right in the town. We were on a cottage about 20 minutes outside of town. So we went into the town, we went to this used bookstore. It was amazing. It was huge. It said that it claimed that it had over a kilometer of books, and yes, it did. It was amazing. I didn't get as much time to browse in there as I would have liked, but I'm definitely going to have to go back one day, and that's definitely on my list to return to. So I just picked up a few things that I quickly saw while I was there. So I was very happy to see that they had Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire at the store, since I was halfway through the book when we had gotten to the cottage, and I no longer had the opportunity to read it as it was deleted from my app. So I picked this up and I did complete the story. I do have to say that as the series goes along, I'm finding it more enjoyable as each book progresses. you see her writing style improve, you see the character development improve, and I just found the stories becoming more complex as Harry Potter ages. Then so does the readership kind of age with him, and I can see how everybody has fallen in love with this series. I'm still not obsessed like most avid readers, but I did enjoy it, and I found that the story held up well. The next thing that I found at the bookstore was Charles Dickens and the Pickwick Papers. And I remember reading, I've always loved the Anne of Green Gables series, and I forget which book in the series, but I believe it's when she's in university. She talks about how whenever she reads the Pickwick Papers, she gets really hungry because there's a lot of descriptions of delicious food in here. And ever since I read that in that book, years and years and years ago, I was probably in middle school, I've always been wanting to pick up Pickwick Papers. I've never gotten around to it. I saw it for $3. It's a classic that I'm sure I can't go wrong with, so I picked it up. My pile on my lap here is getting larger and larger. And then, also by Charles Dickens, I picked up A Christmas Carol. I've actually never read A Christmas Carol. I'm obviously familiar with the story. It's been adapted to movies a couple of times, but it was also $3, and I thought, I can't go wrong. I probably won't get to this until the weather gets colder, and I do feel a bit more festive and into this, you know, into a Christmas story, but I figured that was a good find as well. And then I was extremely happy to find Road Trip Rwanda by Will Ferguson. This was in my last video about my first 5-star book of the year. I really, really, really enjoyed this book, and I had read it through the eLibrary app, and as soon as I was finished reading it, I said, I need to go pick up a hard copy. I love this book. I want to be able to share it with other people. I want them to be able to borrow it. I want to, you know, just recommend this to everyone, and I want to be able to go back and read it again in the future. So, as well, on top of that, there's just something about the cover that I just really like, and I don't know what it is exactly, but I think it's beautiful, and I am excited to have this on my shelf. The next thing I got was actually free. So they had a bunch of arcs and like publisher's copies right at the front door, and they were all free because they did receive them before they were officially published, and you know, then they couldn't sell them for any sort of retail value. So they just had a bunch sitting there that they said, you know, you're welcome to take if you would like. And I didn't go crazy and take too much, but this one was called Face Off, and it's by Michael Betcherman. I hope that's how you pronounce it. And apparently this has been published now. This copy was from Penguin Canada, and it just, like, it's set in British Columbia. I'm Canadian. I have a lot of family out west, and I've been to BC quite a few times, and I just thought it's free, and you know, it's a story about hockey and set in this country, and I thought, why not give it a try and just see if I like it. If I don't like it, it was free, can't go wrong there. And then the last thing that I picked up was The Fiery Cross by Diana Gabaldon, and I believe it's book 5 in the Outlander series. That's what I'm on, obviously, in the series. I started reading it while there, so I'm on page 873, and I'm making progress. I was a little scared that I wouldn't love this one as much as the rest of the series, and I have to say my favorite book is still book 1, and book 4 was also really good, but this has been enjoyable so far. I think the first part was a little bit slower, but I was happy to see my favorite characters again, and now probably about 100 pages ago it started to get really interesting. So I'm at a really good spot in the book right now. I'm at a spot where I don't want to put this down and I want to continue reading, and that's always a great feeling when you're reading your book and you just want to sit and do nothing and read. So After working 13 days in a row, I definitely am having a relaxing day today, and I'm sure I'll get through a big chunk of this again. So that is my haul. That is my, unsuccessful, successful TBR from my trip. I hope you guys are having a great summer. I can't believe it's almost drawn to a close. I promise that my videos will get onto a much, I don't want to say stricter schedule, but definitely more frequent, definitely more structured, now that the summer's drawing to a close and everything's going back into a routine. I'm sad summer's over, but I am also happy that, September always feels like a fresh start and you can get your life together and, get back into the routine. So that's good as well. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more, and have a great day.